everyone, it is Allison Fletcher. I am the Drunk Astrologer. I just wanted to do a video because I haven't done one in a while. I've been blaming the retrogrades, but let's be honest, I just haven't been doing it. Not gonna lie, life's been interesting for the past couple weeks. It's been rough. I've had some challenges, but as always, when life gives you lemons, you have to just flip and put up with it and try to make lemonade. So I don't have lemonade. I have mimosas instead. Maybe, I don't know, I traded the lemons for orange. I love my mimosas, I know. Could make a joke about me being white girl basic, but I like brunch. I like mimosas, whatever. So yeah, moving on to actually talk about astrology. If you have any involvement in the astrology world at all, you've been hearing everybody bitch and moan about the retrogrades. Some people have been talking about how we have 7 of them. I think they're counting Chiron as a planet, which I don't really care about. So I think we've had 6 until Mercury went direct, which happened I think like 12 hours ago, something like that. It's still pretty recent, so we're still recovering. Mercury will be in shadow period now for a little bit. And so for those of you that don't know, shadow period is the time that it takes to get back to where it retrograded. So it's going back over what it's all this area of the astrology that's already covered. It's covered it. This is the 3rd time now. So it covered it the first time when it was going around, then it retrograde backed over. Now we're going back into trying to get back there. And so the shadow period is not as challenging as retrograde, but it's still not conducive to really like pushing forward and like don't try too hard. Like you can start going out there and like look into if you've been putting off buying a cell phone until Mercury is no longer in retrograde, you can start looking at it, but like don't go out today and like buy a new phone sight unseen because it's probably gonna break. That's my advice and opinion. So we've had all these planets in retrograde. I think it's a bigger deal to me, honestly, that Mars and Mercury were in retrograde at the same time. I think that was harder. I don't care about the other planets being in retrograde because a lot of them go in retrograde. I think like Pluto's in retrograde for almost half the year, so yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't care that much. Sorry. But so yeah, but Mars and Mercury in retrograde at the same time has been difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it's been difficult. That being said, I have learned a ton over this retrograde. I'm a big believer that the difficult times, your challenging times, when you have like squares, oppositions, that kind of stuff, that's when you learn. That's when you grow. That's when you become a better person. You don't wake up one morning and have $10 million in the bank account and you're married to the perfect person and have the perfect job. You don't just wake up one morning and have that happen. Like, even if you've been given money from your parents, you still have to put up with your parents' crap to get that money. Like, you don't just wake up with money and have everything easy and happy, and you don't just have your perfect job. You have to work for everything. You have to work to keep it, you have to work to get it, and you don't work unless you're pushed to work. And so the challenges, the obstacles, this is our time of growth. So I've been going through this time of growth in my own life with these retrogrades, and it's been making me really think. And so I wanted to do a video today talking about the positives of retrograde, because yeah, you know, it's fun to joke on Twitter about the Gatorades, the planets in Gatorade and that kind of stuff, but we can't just joke about it and then hide in our bedrooms. Like, we have to do something about what's going on. So I wanted to start by talking about my Mercury retrograde, this past Mercury retrograde. It's been interesting. Those of you who have heard me talk about Mercury retrograde before have probably heard me talk about the fact that whenever Mercury goes retrograde, I cannot get a good damn freaking cup of coffee. It's impossible. The espresso machines at the only Starbucks within 20 miles breaks down. This time I ended up at a different house than normal and I couldn't figure out how to use the freaking coffee maker. It's awful. I really believe that Mercury retrograde's trying to tell me that I need to eventually learn how to live without coffee. I know it's trying to tell me that I need to learn right now how to live without coffee. It's not going to happen. Just being honest. I know I will eventually need to cut back, just like I will eventually need to cut back on drinking. But right now, mimosas. So, anyways, back to Mercury retrograde and not my awful diet. So yeah, so we need to learn how to live without it. The other thing that happened during this Mercury retrograde is my phone screen shattered. I could get calls, I could make calls, I could use Siri to text, but I live in a rural area. Internet's expensive, cable's expensive, so having a TV and a computer and internet and that kind of stuff, that's just not possible for me. I'm not gonna pay a bunch of money for something that goes out all the time because we don't get regular like internet. So I do everything off my phone. I get cell service, so anywhere I can get cell service, I'm using my phone. I do everything off my phone. So Mercury retrograde, during this time, it shattered my screen. Well, again, I said I live in a rural location. So I have a protection plan on my phone because I'm a klutz, and so I know I'm probably going to break it, my phone, so I pay for the protection plan. So they were going to come out and fix my phone. Well, it just so happens they only do it once a month because they don't really want to come out to where I live. And you can't like bring it into them, like they don't have like a facility. They always do the whole like coming out to you thing. So sure enough, I had to go a full week without a phone. And it was actually a really good thing for me. Like there were parts of it that were rough. It was really difficult to get the Drunk Astrologer Facebook post out this week. Thankfully they fixed it in time I could get it out on Wednesdays like I usually do. But I had to learn to interact or be more present. I had to learn to find new ways to entertain myself. I couldn't just pull out my phone and start playing like some silly game or check Facebook or check YouTube or anything like that. Like I had to actually sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and write. I had to, when I went to my mom, actually sit down and fully listen to my mom. I wasn't checking my phone. I wasn't doing anything like that. And I have, since getting my phone fixed, I've actually continued to bring out the pen and paper and write and actually legitimately write instead of play on my phone. I've been spending more time with the cards. I've been, when I went to go see my mom this week, I was really able to sit down and talk with her. I forgot that I didn't even have my phone out of my bag yet. Like I didn't bother like grabbing it out of my purse when I got to her house. Like I just left it in my purse. I have been forgetting my phone now different places. I think I've left it in my car like 3 times since I got it fixed. But it's just Mercury retrograde takes these things away from you for a reason. It doesn't take coffee away from you because it wants to just mess with you. It takes coffee away from you because it wants you to truly think about what you're doing to your body. And on that note, I do believe I have actually been doing better with my diet since Mercury has been in retrograde. It's actually been amazing. I've been able to like lose some weight and like really get into a routine. Mercury retrograde is actually a very good time for this. So instead of focusing on the negatives and on all the other things, next time Mercury goes into retrograde, I'm going to say, okay, how much weight can I lose? How much of a routine can I get in? How much healthier can I get? What can I do? Now, this time was a little hard because Mars in retrograde is not the best time to exercise, and it's well-rounded. I know I'm not a beauty channel, but well-rounded, you need to be doing your exercise and your diet. Beauty tips for the day. Yeah. So you need to, next time Mercury goes into retrograde, I plan on doing it. You guys can plan on doing it. Actually, you can do whatever you want. I'm not your mother, but I plan on focusing on my diet. Another thing about retrogrades is it's a really good time to focus inward. So I have spent more time meditating. Again, my phone was broken, so that kind of helped. But I have spent more time meditating on why I'm acting the way I'm acting since all these retrogrades started. I had a situation at work where I got a review. I get a yearly review, and I'm a Capricorn. I'm a perfectionist. I want a perfect damn score. And I've gotten a perfect damn score in the past. Like, I've gotten a perfect, like, they've had to, like, fight with HR to be like, no, she actually deserves this. I've had to actually, like, go and be like, okay, well, here's everything I do, and see, look, here's my good scores, here's patient testimony saying they love me. Like, I want a perfect score. So I didn't, like, fail my review. I didn't get, like, well, you're on probation or anything like that. But I didn't get a perfect score. And I got really upset about it. So I was forced during this retrograde to figure out why I didn't get a perfect score. I have a couple answers as to why I didn't get a perfect score. Honestly, none of it's that important, which is actually another thing I discovered. But if we focus internally during these retrogrades, I now know what I need to do in the future. Because I figured out what's going on with me right now. And I figured out what steps I need to take. I'm not taking some of these steps yet because I'm sorry, Mars is still in retrograde. I'm going to wait for that. Actually, I think next year, for like a month and a half, everything's going to go direct. So maybe we'll wait for that. But that happened again this year, and that was actually not a fun time. It was a very stressful time when all the planets were direct. But yeah. But I know what I need to do because I've looked inside myself. So, I just mentioned it, but remember at the beginning of this year, all the planets were direct for a while. Saturn had just entered Capricorn, and we were all about to kill ourselves. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I was a little less stressed because I have so much Capricorn. My Saturn's in Capricorn, my Sun's in Capricorn. I have a ton of Capricorn. So, like, all this energy really wasn't that stressful to me, but for a lot of people, it was stressful. People started getting, like, sick. People started getting stressed out. There were people going on Facebook groups going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with this energy? I want to die. It was a very difficult time. And so I think we really don't, everything being direct really is not that good of a thing. We need breaks from planets and energy. Saturn in Capricorn has been kicking people's butts. Now, notice it hasn't been kicking anybody's butt recently. That's because it's in retrograde. We're getting a break from Saturn. Saturn's no longer making people want to lose their goddamn minds. Saturn's now in retrograde. It's making us really reflect. We're having to kind of question our like future and what we're going to be doing. We're getting a break from karma. Like, there's not going to be all this like karmic energy that's like really like forcing itself on us. I really think we're getting a break from that right now. So it's a good thing. Saturn in retrograde is a good thing. It's giving us a break. Now again, it really doesn't affect me that bad. My Saturn is in Capricorn. I'm actually going to be hitting my Saturn return in just over a year. I have a sun in Saturn. I'm very Saturnine. I have 5 planets in Saturn, or in Capricorn. I have 5 planets in Capricorn. I'm very Saturnine. So it doesn't affect me as poorly, but other people, if you have no Earth, Saturn in Capricorn's awful. So we've gotten a break from it. The other thing is I don't know if I talked about this earlier in the video, but the shadow period. When we have planets go into retrograde, they hit a certain point and they station, they stop. Planets don't actually stop, but they also don't actually move backwards. But they station, excuse me, they station at a degree. They then go back over the same degrees that they just went through until they station again and go direct. Then they go back over the same degrees. I am a firm believer that planets going into retrograde, when they're in this shadow period going back over the same degrees, they give us a chance to redo that energy and those degrees. And if we made mistakes the first time a planet was out of place, we have a chance to fix those mistakes. So Uranus recently went into Taurus, where it recently stationed and it's going retrograde. It's going to go back into Aries, which I'm not excited about because then it's squaring my Venus. Well, not excited about, as in I have no idea what's going to happen, but whatever is going to happen is going to be very challenging and lead to great growth, so kind of excited, but still not excited. Anyways, ramble. It's going to go back into Aries, where it's going to station again, go direct, and go back into Taurus. We have a chance to fix what we may have done wrong when it went into Taurus the first time. So, yeah. That is my brunch-like ramble and rant. If you've ever been to brunch with one of those girls that just goes the entire time. That's what I just did. So yeah, brunch-like ramble about retrogrades and why, even though they keep me from having coffee, they are actually a good thing for us. So yeah. In case you actually like my rambling, subscribe, like, you can share my videos if you want. I don't care. I put them on YouTube for a reason. That's for people to see them. What else? Facebook. Like me on Facebook. I have the weekly drink recommendations of the week. You also get to see my grandmother comment on all of them because she's so proud of me. It's really cute. And I'm also on Twitter. So now that I have a functioning screen on my phone, I will be able to keep tweeting or tweet more. I was kind of silent there, radio silent for a week. Again, I was learning how to internalize, or working on myself internally, and learning to live without my phone. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking, please. I am Allison Fletcher. I am the Drunk Astrologer. Bye.